All right, what's up, folks? Look what time of the year it is. Fall time with the beautiful leaves, all the wonderful colors, so many shades of pink. Wonderful, beautiful stuff happening in nature. So, what do we do with our figs? Do we just let them take their natural course? Sure, yep, that's an option, it'll work. Or you could dig into it a little bit and see how you can just help them along a little bit. Give them a little nudge. Help them harden off a little faster, a little better lignified. So what did I do? Here are my trees right now. They're looking pretty good, right? Still a little too green for this time of the season. Well, it's primarily because, yes, I live in Texas and we do have a very long season, but there's some things I could do to help them along right now. I could cut the water, cut the nitrogen, a whole bunch of stuff. Some things that I've been doing for years and some new things that I'm going to experiment with this year. So what I did was I wanted to put together a video right in the middle of me trying to put together the videos for the most important aspects of growing indoors. I'm doing a series on that, and I am in the middle of a few of those videos. I took a pause there because of the time of season, and I figured this was the video I need to focus on right now just because it'll help people at this exact moment if they're interested in this kind of stuff. So what did I do? I started telling you everything that I do, that I've done in the past, and I've seen some good success. I'm not telling people to go leave their trees outdoors potted in a bunch of terrible freezing cold. But what happened to me last year, I had one in a 15-gallon pot and one in a 10-gallon pot. I left them outside to test it. It got down to about 5 degrees, but not for too long, just for a few hours. And it stayed below freezing, again, not for too long, just over 24 hours. So it was probably like a week or two, a stretch of cold, but it went into positive, above freezing temperatures every day. So it's a very specific situation, but those 2 trees that I left outside, not a single bit of damage. And I do believe it's because I helped them harden a little bit quicker, a little bit better, and they get lignified better. So I wanted to share my things that I do with you, all the stuff that helps the trees better prepare for winter and also be set up for spring. I started doing that. I was going to do a quick video, just show you boom, boom, boom. This is what I do. Do it if you want. Don't do it if you want. And then I started saying to myself, like, why am I not telling them why? Like, yeah, add a lot of phosphorus, potassium, but why? And then I was like, I'm going to make this video a little more interesting. Let me do a little research here for myself, because I don't know the why on everything. I knew the why on some of it, but not the why on all of it. And boy, oh boy, did I learn the why on a lot of it. I'm not trying to pretend I'm an expert. You all know that. I'm a hardcore, amateur, aggressive hobbyist. That's the way I put myself. But I'm definitely an amateur. I'm not a professional. You want to double check anything if you're going to do something real with it. But it's very easy to double check my work. I'm going to show you what I did while figuring out the why and how to explain it to you best, because I do love science. It's my favorite thing. If there's anybody out there looking for an apprentice, I work hard. Like somebody scientific who knows this stuff for real, that's an actual professional, I will do work for you. Bring it on. So this is what I came up with, right? And it took me forever, this entire week. Mind you, I don't have a ton of time to work on YouTube stuff, or I have a job that takes up a ton of my time, the kids, my wife works more than I do. So I was able to get a few hours, an hour or two a day on this. So I'm probably in about like 5 to 7 hours. Most of it was spent on reading about the why. All right, let's dive in. I want to share with you what I learned. All right, let's take a look at my PowerPoint. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. First thing is first, stop the nitrogen and reduce water. This helps ensure no new growth and starts triggering all the processes that we need to take place to accelerate lignification and get the hardening going. Next up, and in no particular order, is add phosphorus, which is a very important macronutrient. Well, they all are. And they all play different roles here, preparing for winter and spring. The micronutrients are all important also. I mean, it's just fascinating to read about all this. It's such a good use of time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. All of these things just have to work together so well in such good harmony. It's like almost a miracle how all of this stuff has to come together for it to work. It's absolutely just amazing. So phosphorus plays a central role in building, storing, transferring energy. Very important there. It strengthens root system. It's the primary nutrient for root growth. It helps with the feeder roots growing new ones and helps the roots become denser and more fibrous. It also helps transport carbohydrates. It assists the enzymes to move and reorganize the sugars. It helps with cellular repair and recovery from the cold. It helps synthesize acids for maintenance, and it aids in rebuilding the phloem and the xylem if needed. Okay, so for each of these, I'm going to show you how I do it. There's obviously tons and tons, hundreds of ways to add these things, and I'm sure you probably have your own ways, but I'm just going to share what I do. I typically look for organic ways to do it. I try to get good products, and I do consider immediate release, short-term, medium, long-term release, things like that. So I'll just tell you guys what I do. For the phosphorus, I use seabird guano. It has 0 nitrogen, which is a big advantage. A lot of the other guano will have nitrogen, so you'd want to look out for that. Like bone meal has nitrogen. They're both high in phosphorus, but you're trying to avoid nitrogen right now. It's also good. It doesn't leach easily, and it's a natural product, long-term, gentle nutrition, and it has a bunch of calcium and a whole lot of different trace minerals. Next up is potassium. It strengthens cell walls and tissues. It toughens plant cells by reinforcing the cell walls and the membranes. It prevents cells from rupturing. It improves cold tolerance by maintaining flexible internal pressure, preventing brittleness or rupturing. It helps balance water and the internal pressure. The ion potassium plus is the primary osmotic ion inside plant cells. Oh yeah. It helps manage the internal pressure, osmotic pressure, turgor, I believe is how you say that. So the tissues don't dehydrate or freeze easily. It is necessary for stomatal opening. It improves energy storage and movement, helps the carbohydrate storage move from leaves to roots and trunks, creates an energy reserve for spring. So a lot of these things, they'll help also in spring, for winter and for spring, in just different ways. It also enhances stress and disease resistance, regulates enzyme and protein synthesis, helps keep tissue stable and metabolism balanced. I get my potassium from langbeinite, is how you say that, I believe. Again, another good product, organic, gentle, slow release. This one has a bunch of other stuff in it, magnesium and sulfur to call out. Next up is calcium. It strengthens cell walls. It's like the plant's armor. It keeps cell walls firm and less likely to rupture. It improves membrane stability and water balance, prevents electrolyte leakage, reduces the risk of frostburn or desiccation, keeps potassium and magnesium properly balanced inside cells. It also does a lot for the roots as well. It helps support the root tips and the root crown health. That's one of the most vulnerable parts during the freezing temperatures. It also protects newly forming root cells, and it encourages stronger cell division when growth resumes in spring. Again, these help both in different ways, both for winter and spring. And then additionally, it buffers soil and the nutrient uptake. It helps balance pH and maintain enzyme stability. It enhances cold stress signal. So it gives like a calcium wave, travels through the entire plant, and that triggers all kinds of the protective responses to kick in and start up. I get my calcium from oyster shells, the ground up oyster shells, and gypsum. The oyster shells are a little slower release and they raise pH just a little tiny bit. The gypsum is a faster release and it's more of a neutral pH. They complement each other well. The oyster shell, it raises the pH slowly over time, and both of these things are loaded with a bunch of other stuff. Again, I I truly enjoyed reading about all of this. It's just absolutely amazing. And next up is magnesium. It is the central atom in chlorophyll, of really, as the name implies, it has something to do with green stuff. So in photosynthesis, the green pigment in plants that captures the light energy from the sun and it converts it into chemical energy. I just loved reading about this. It was so much fun. Next up, it is a cofactor for many enzymes, which it helps the enzymes do what they have to do. It keeps photosynthesis and sugar transport efficient during hardening. So again, important leading up to winter. And it helps ensure plants can still produce and move carbohydrates around before dormancy. So I get my magnesium from Lang by Night for more of the long-term, slower release. And for the immediate, I do the Epsom salt, the magnesium sulfate. And again, both of these have a lot of other stuff in them. Next up is silica. I absolutely love this stuff. I have it also in liquid form. I use it a lot. So for winter preparation, it helps to reinforce the cell walls with calcium and lignin, builds a tri-layered wall. Go ahead and get through that. Reduces freezing damage, helps maintain cell wall elasticity, improves drought and water balance, helps maintain turgor pressure. It also enhances disease and fungal resistance, triggers defense-related enzymes, and it aids in lignification and nutrient balance, thicker secondary walls, balanced cation exchange in roots, better spring recovery as lignified, silica-rich tissues, they resume growth cleanly and more easily. I absolutely love this stuff. I use it, again, all the time for so much stuff besides just winter preparation. So I get silica a bunch of different ways. The one all the way on the right there, the Silica Boost, that's the immediate, the liquid one. So if you want to give it a little boost right there. So you could do that. But I want to spend a little extra time talking about the green sand and the azomite. I absolutely love these two things. It's like gold. My figs love it. They're both medium to long-term release. The green sand, a natural mineral, it's soft greenish rock found in ancient seabeds, over 30 trace minerals. It improves stress tolerance, root development, helps with disease resistance, it helps with microbial life. This is geared towards winter preparation. It does a bunch of other stuff. It has high the cation exchange capacity, CEC, and essentially the higher the CEC, the more nutrients the soil could retain. And therefore, it helps facilitate a good transfer of nutrients when the plant actually needs it. C measures the soil's ability to hold positively charged ions on its negatively charged ions in the soil. And then azomite is another absolutely amazing thing. It's a natural volcanic ash-derived rock dust mineral used to remineralize depleted soil, just like green sand. And azomite, it literally stands for A to Z of mineral. I is including, TE is trace elements, and it contains over 60 to 70 trace minerals. It enhances enzyme systems and photosynthesis. It supports diverse microbial life, including fungi and trace mineral processing bacteria. And it also boosts soil structure and the cation exchange capacity. All right, next up is sulfur. We are now switching more from the macronutrients to the micronutrients over here, where they're going to more guide the tree from anabolic, the growth, to catabolic metabolism, where it's focusing more on storage and protection. And first up is sulfur. Real good stuff. Enhances enzyme and protein formation. It boosts antioxidant defense and cold stress tolerance. Again, focusing on prep for winter over here, the fine tuning. It brings pH down. It helps activate microbes for nutrient cycling. And it supports detox and nutrient balance as the nitrogen tapers off. It works synergistically with calcium and iron and enzyme stability. I get my sulfur from the Lang by Night which is more of a slow release. I also use gypsum, faster release, and Epsom salt was an immediate release. And next up is boron, which facilitates cell wall cross-linking and sugar transport. I'm telling you, it was so much fun reading about this stuff. It's like all these little tiny micro processes that have to work, and they all work with each other. Like this one needs calcium. They complement each other very well, and they need each other. All of these things need each other. It's like when one of them's not working, it's the weakest link, you know? And boron also improves energy storage and root health. Next up is zinc, which helps with transition from active growth to lignification by influencing enzymes away from growth and towards the tissue maturity for winter. So that's the opposite of it does in spring. It guides them towards growth in spring. The zinc also activates over 300 enzymes tied to protein and carb metabolism. Next up is manganese. It's a key cofactor for oxidative stress enzyme. I absolutely love this. It protects tissues from cold-induced oxidative damage. This is the coolest thing. I enjoyed it so much. It was essentially when it gets cold quickly and metabolism slows down, but it's still getting all of the energy from the sun, but it can't handle it all because the metabolism dropped. And so you start getting all of these different free radicals, the oxygen starts turning into these, I don't know, I read a whole bunch of different stuff. It really was super cool. The cofactor for antioxidant enzyme that neutralizes those radicals I was just talking about. Manganese also keeps the photosynthesis systems protected and helps keep the running and going, and I'm not exactly sure. It also preserves the membrane integrity. The chloroplast helps give it stability. And next up is iron, which helps keep the electron flow balanced as temperatures drop. It also helps to prevent the oxidative injury, and it supports transport and sugar synthesis late into the season. And all of these things, so sulfur, boron, zinc, manganese, iron, you could get from these two things over here. So kelp meal, it's good because it's a nice slow release. The liquid kelp, you might run a risk of potentially new growth because of the nitrogen. It's very low, but still, you run more of a risk when it's liquid. When it's a slow release solid fertilizer like this, it releases that little bit of nitrogen over time, so you should be good. Plus it is loaded with tons of other micronutrients and trace elements. It's really good stuff. And then azomite, both of these things are just absolutely amazing, just gold. All right, and now to round off the fine tuning, add yourself some good humic acid. This stuff is absolutely amazing. It does so much. I have it on this slide. I have it on the next slide. I'm trying to separate between prepping for winter and for spring. Leonardite is a good source of humic acid. You could get it like this in the photo here, the slow release solid. And then on the right, you have the immediate release liquid. And then mulch. You always need to add some mulch for the winter, right? It helps protect the roots from the cold temperatures, from the freeze above. It could give it extra some degree so that the roots don't freeze. It helps regulate moisture and stabilize temperature. It breaks down over time into good old organic love. I prefer cedar mulch. I get the kind that's all natural, no dyes, no fragrance, none of that stuff. Cedar mulch is good with pest deterrent. It's a mild antimicrobial, so it has the oils on there on the surface that fight mold. It is slow to decompose, so I get shredded, and it just smells absolutely amazing. You're walking around watering your figs, and it just smells nice. Now, last but not least, the stuff that you're doing to prepare for winter is also going to do a lot for spring. So let's just make sure that we're covering these aspects as well. The azomite, it really, like we talked, it has tons of trace minerals in it. It's going to serve as a long-term mineral reservoir. And then once it starts getting warm out, things are just going to take off. Now, it's acting as support for microbial life, and it improves the higher cation exchange capacity. And then green sand, same thing. It improves the CEC, and it's just going to help the roots store energy for spring. It helps with the stress and disease tolerance. It helps with the microbes as well, and things are just going to absolutely take off once spring and once the warmth starts, the temperatures start going up. Next, add biochar. It also does a lot of the same stuff. It helps with the beneficial microbes to house them over the winter. It increases the cation exchange capacity, the CEC. It helps lock in excess nutrients to prevent leaching, and it balances moisture. Again, add humic acid. Love this stuff. It makes minerals more available to the plants over time. It reactivates soil biology and improves CEC so that it enhances the nutrient uptake as soon as growth resumes in the spring. And then add microbes. Always want to add microbes in my world. They going to help protect the roots over the winter so that come spring they're ready to rock. It maintains baseline nutrient cycling, and that is just the continuous movement and transformation of nutrients through soil, plants, the microbes, water, air, even when no fertilizers or amendments are added. It's essentially the soil's default self-sustaining engine that helps keep nutrients available to plants over time. It also builds biological resilience for early spring activation. And that is it, folks. Well, that's not it. That's like nothing. Barely even scratching the surface with what we just did. It was a lot for me, though. That took a while. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm wondering if you're still here right now. Shout out at me. Let me know how it goes. All right, folks. Take care.